Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and welcome back to the channel as well. As promised, I'm going to be doing more front-end mentor stuff, and for today we're going to be doing something that they released yesterday, and it's called the stats preview card component. It's still new, it's a new challenge, still hot on the market, and we're going to be doing it using HTML, CSS and probably JavaScript, but looking at it, I don't think we are going to need any JavaScript. So before you begin, I just want to say that if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It helps me immensely. And let's begin. So you can head over to frontendmentor.io/challenges, and then just click this card and then click on start challenge. You can go through the readme and everything that they require, and then just say download starter, like so. And then once that downloads, then I'm going to open up my downloads folder like so. And I'm going to extract this right here, and then I'm going to open this up with the Visual Studio Code like that, and we should be up and running and ready to begin working on the project. So this is what we have for the design. We have a background color, and then we have the card in the middle, and then for the mobile, I guess it's just stacked on top of each other. Okay, and then these are our images, and then the git ignore the index.html, which is not quite a big file. And yeah, I think we can get started right away. But what I want to do first, right inside here, is link my style sheet, which we're going to create, and we're going to call it style.css, like so. And then let me create this file inside here. So create a new file called style.css. And then inside this file, I'm going to grab these two lines, cut them out, and remove this, and then just paste this inside here like so. And then I'm going to go to the bottom and change this to link my website. So https://.co.ke, like so, and then change this to my name. Now, when you're doing this challenge for the first time and you'd like to submit it, please ensure that you enter your name inside here and you don't enter my name instead. I don't know why it's necessary to say that. Okay, so let's save this. Actually, I don't want to save it because it will reformat all of this, which I don't want. And then inside style CSS, what do we need to do inside here? We need to get some fonts. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. Actually, I'm going to copy all this. These are our colors. And then I'm just going to paste them inside here and then set up variables for them. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, place my semicolons, like so. And then change this into variables. And this needs to be inside the colon root, like so. Okay, I'm trying something new with my typing, so I can't really see my keyboard. So if you see a lot of mistakes inside here, then please do understand. So I'm going to call this very dark blue. Okay, and remove this. I actually need to remove this text. Remove this text, and this one, and this one as well, and this text as well, so that I can place two hyphens like so. Okay, remember when you're naming variables in CSS, they always begin with two hyphens, double hyphens. Okay, and then this needs to have a hyphen as well, and then this is a hyphen with a small letter like so. Okay, this is white, small. This is dash slightly dash transparent dash white, like so. This is slightly wait, is this the same thing? Almost the same color, the difference is the opacity, I guess. Okay, so once we set this up, then I can save this, and then inside our style guide markdown file, once again, what I want to do is go ahead to fonts.google.com so that I can grab these two fonts. So this is called Inter and this is Lex and Decker. So let's head over to, let me close this. Let's head over to fonts.google.com. So fonts.google.com. Okay, let's search for the Inter font. Right inside here, let's search for Inter, like so. This should be it. And we're grabbing the 400 and 700. So let's grab the regular 400 font and the bold 700. And then let's go back and search for, what is the second font? Lex and Decker. and we're grabbing the 400 font for this one. It only has one weight. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this link tag right inside here, copy this, and then inside my index HTML, I'm going to paste it. Let me paste it above this like so, without saving it, of course. And then I need to specify the body to use what type of font. So I'm going to say for the body, then I want this to be a font family of, I think it should be Lex and Deca with a fallback of sans serif like so. And then I'm not quite sure with where this other font comes in. Let me just confirm this. I think we're going to figure out the fonts as we build the application. I don't know the difference in the fonts currently, so let's just have it at that. But I noticed that in our style guide, the body is sent to a font size of 15 pixels. So I'm going to set that for the paragraph right inside. I'm going to set this font size to 15 pixels, and then I want to set a line height inside here as well of 1.6, just so that we can get as many variables as we can out of the way. And actually, while we're still on that, let me just specify my asterisk like so, and I'm going to say reset the margin to 0, reset the padding to 0, reset the box sizing, set this to border box like so. Okay, looking nice. Okay, so I think we should be done with this file. Let me just confirm that. Yep, we are indeed done with this file, so we don't need to keep on skipping over to it. And then now what I want to do is inside the index HTML is, let me look at what we have for the mobile design, because obviously I want to build this mobile first. So we have a background color on the body, right? Let me just see if this is specified somewhere, and it should be this very dark blue, and then the desaturated blue is probably for our card. So right away inside the body, let me set this to have a background color of very dark blue like so. And then we're going to create a class of container inside here. So I'm going to grab all of this, just cut it out and create a div with a class of container like so. And then I want to target this div with a class of container right below the body. Actually, let me go below this paragraph and target the div with a class of container, and I'm going to say the background color for this should be desaturated blue like so. So it's this second color. Okay, and then once we do that, then let me go back inside my index HTML and let's see what the mobile design looks like. So we have an image on the top, and then we have this is an h1, then the paragraph, and then these three. Okay, so that's easy enough. So let's deal with this first. Let me cut this out, place an h1 and paste this inside, and then grab this, cut it out, place a paragraph and paste it inside. And then for these three, what I want to do is I want to place them inside an ordered list, right? So I'm going to create a UL, and then inside this UL we are going to have 3 list items. This is 3 list items. And then for the first one, we're just going to grab this and move it upwards. And then for the second one, we're going to grab this and move it upwards. And finally, for the third one, just grab this and move it upwards. And I'm moving them upwards by holding down the Alt key and then pressing up or down. I think this should work for all operating systems. Okay, so that once we do this, then I can save this finally. And actually, what I should have done is right inside here, I'm going to grab everything like so and place this inside a div with a class of card like that, so that I'm going to create another div with a class of card, and this div with the class of card is going to house our image, right? And remember that we have 2 images inside here, one for the mobile and one for the desktop. So we want to be able to switch them up right inside our HTML using what we call a picture tag, because I don't want to add media queries for all of this. So what I'm going to do is add a picture tag. Just write picture like so, and this picture tag takes in a source attribute, right? Is it what's its syntax? Source and media like so. Now what this means, just to explain it a bit, is that if you've dealt with CSS media query, basically what this means is that once the width that we're going to specify inside here, once we exceed that width, then the image will change to whatever we're going to specify the path for inside here. Okay, so for example, if I set this width to 768 pixels like so, then I want to place this source to be coming from /images. Is that the correct path? we're just going to see, and it's called image dash header dash desktop, right? Header dash desktop dot jpeg. Okay, and then once we specify this source, then we also need to specify is a default value in case this doesn't load, right? So right below this, I'm going to say image, and this is coming from .images, and it's going to be the mobile, because I want the mobile image to load by default. And then once we get 768 pixels and above, then this will load, but we're going to play around with this a bit. Okay, so once we do this, then I guess we have done everything for our HTML, and I can save this. I'm going to open this up with live server. That's my preferred way. Okay, and we have this. Is that the correct one? It should be. And then once I reduce it to less than 768 pixels, then we should see the mobile version of the image. So let's see. Right around there, see that? You see the image changes like so. So our picture tag is working correctly. Oh, wait a minute, is that the correct way? Yeah, that should be it. I really think, okay, let me say I really hope that is it. Okay, so I'm going to place this to the side like so, because I want to deal with this mobile first, and then I'm going to grab this and place it to the other side. And then now let's begin with our styling. Okay, so inside my style.css, I've just noticed that I need to limit this image a bit so that we don't have this horizontal scroll bar. So right at the top right above here, I'm going to say for the image tag, then just set the max width to 100%. And then for the unordered list, I want to remove the bullets, right? So I'm going to say for the UL, then let's say list style type, set this to none, like so. So we don't have the horizontal scroll bar, and we have this. Okay, that's looking almost nice. Now for the body, what I want to do is actually not on the body, sorry, on the container, what I want to do is add some margin. And I'm going to say add a margin of, let's say, 40 or 50 pixels on the top and bottom, and 20 pixels on the left and right, so that this will move the container inwards, right? So I'm going to save that, and notice what happens, looking nice. And then I want to add some padding of the container, so I'm going to say padding of 20 pixels all around, but this will move the image inwards. Is the image moved inwards inside here? Nope, it's to the edge. Okay, let's see what we can do. We're going to say, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to add padding on the left and right. Let me say 0 on the top. Okay, 20 pixels on the right, 20 pixels on the bottom, and 20 pixels on the left, like so. Okay, we don't need the left and right. This is the right one. So let's say 0 on the right and 0 on the left. So you can just say that. And there we go. Now that I think about this, is this really necessary? Let's add a border radius. Let's say border radius, set this to about 10 pixels. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so we have a border radius on the bottom, but not on the top, because this is an image. So what we need to do is just target the container, and target the image, or rather, let me target the picture tag, like so. And then let's add a border radius on the picture tag, a border radius of 10 pixels on the top left, 10 pixels on the top right, and 0 on the bottom right and on the bottom left. And nothing happens. Why does nothing happen? This is div container card picture. Container, let's target the card, let's target the picture. Let me see if I target the image inside here. If this works, then it works. If I increase it, then it also works. Let's see, what can we do? This should be fine. What I want to do is, I just noticed that this has a kind of overlay, right? So what we can do is, I can go inside here, add a class on this called picture, a class of picture on this, right? And then I need to remove this. Does that work? I need to remove this. Okay, let's remove this, and then let's go inside our CSS, and let me remove this. Let me just comment it, and then inside here, let's say background, set this to URL to come from /images / the mobile version first, and then let me see if I can set this height to 400 pixels. And this is the dot picture class, that's why it's not working. Picture, is that how you spell it? Container card picture, background URL. Let's set this to no repeat, and center and cover, but nothing happens. Why does nothing happen? Let's say lorem 5. Let me grab this and place it inside the div with the class of overlay. Let me just see this. Oops. Let's say lorem 20. But why isn't this changing? There's a class of picture, container. Okay, we don't need this. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that was a problem. And now let me just remove this text. Let me remove this text and leave the overlay inside, and then we can now target the overlay. So I'm just going to grab this, copy this downwards, target the overlay like so, and then set the background color for this to HSL, and let's set the height to 400 pixels. Okay, and notice that it covers the entire image and it's completely opaque, so we don't want that to happen. And we can just fix that by adding an alpha value here and setting this to around 0.5. Should be good enough, right? 0.5. And then what I need to do is let me remove this card class from here, change this to a class like so, and then I can remove the comment here and save this, and it should work, but it doesn't. Let me increase the alpha value for this to about 0.7, 0.8, 0.7. Is that really? This color looks darker. It looks dark. It looks really dark, but I don't have that color inside here. So you know what? I'm not going to really bother with it all that much. Okay, so let's see, what do we need to do? We need to target the wait just a minute. The container, the picture class. So we want the picture class to have the border radius. Okay, there we go. So that we now see the border radius right about there, and which means we also need to just copy this and paste it inside here, and it should fix it like so. Okay, I'm a bit slow in processing things today. Okay, the next that I want to do is just align everything to the center. So I'm going to go inside the container, my container class inside here, just going to say text align center like so, which will bring everything to the center. And then let me target the h1. So I'm going to say the container and container, target the card class, target the h1, and set this color to white. Do we have a white variable like so? Okay, and actually I could do this above. I could copy this, just cut it out and just paste it inside here, move it at the top, and it should change everything to white like so. And then what I need to do is, I've just noted that this is styled differently, get insights is styled differently. So what I'm going to do is right inside here, inside my HTML, I'm going to grab this, target the and place it inside the span. Sorry, so we're going to be target the h1 span, and then we can change the color for this. So I'm going to save this, and then right inside here I'm going to target the span like so, and then change this color to HSL, which is basically our pink color like so. Okay, and then once we do that, what does this thing, why does this color look different than what's in the design? Now, you know what, let's just work with what we are provided with. Okay, and then what I want to do is now target the H1. So I'm going to grab this, paste it above like so, and then I'm going to say margin top, add some top margin. Let's say margin top of around 30 pixels. Okay, and then let's say margin bottom of 20 pixels. Okay, and an easier way to do this would be to say margin on the top of 30 pixels, or 0 on the left and right, and 20 pixels on the bottom, and it's still the same thing, and it's much easier. So let me move this like so, and then let me target the card class, the individual card class, so that I can move each of these inwards just a bit. So I'm going to grab this and just go above here, paste it, and I'm going to say add some padding of 0 on the top and bottom, or rather let me say 0 on the top, right? Oh wait a minute, this also had the class of card. This also has a class of card. If I do that, then it will mess up a bit. Okay, it will mess up a bit. So let me not do this inside here. Instead, what I'm going to do is right inside my H1, I'm just going to say add some padding of 0 on the top and bottom and 20 pixels on the left and right to move the H1 inwards just a bit. Let's increase the line height for this, for this to be around 1.5. Let's see how this looks. Okay, the line height isn't so big. Let's say 1.3. That should be much better. And then let's now target the card like so, and then below this I want to target the paragraph. And then for the paragraph, I'm going to say padding of 0 on the top and bottom and 20% on the left and right to push it inwards just a bit. And then I'm going to say margin bottom and set this to 30 pixels. Should be enough. 30 pixels. Yep, that should be enough. And then finally we can deal with all of this. Okay. This is styled a bit differently, so it means we are going to have to restructure this a bit. Does it? Let's grab let me place my cursor here and here and here. Oops, like so. And then actually that doesn't work, does it? That doesn't work. Let me just grab this first one, place a span like so, paste that inside. Grab this second one, place a span, paste it inside. The third one, add a span and paste it inside like so. And then now let's target the UL. So I'm going to copy this, paste it below this, target the UL, and I'm going to say that for the UL, how would this work? Let me target the list items, because I want this is the span, and then this is the list item. Well, it's all a list item, but this is the span inside the list item. So let me see what would happen if I say let me target the span inside here. Oops, the span inside here, and then let's just say display block. Okay, and notice what happens on display block. So this happens. So that's already much better. And once we do that, then what I want to do is let me add a margin on the bottom of 10 pixels. Oops, that's not what I wanted. It should be opposite, right? It should be the opposite. So instead of having this here, then I need to have it on the list item. So copy this, paste it above this, and say margin dash bottom. Set this to 10 pixels. Let's say 20 pixels, like so, and this is much better. And this is in uppercase. So what is it? The list items is in uppercase. So I just need to go here and say text transform and say uppercase. But this might mess up, as you can see, because the K here, the K shouldn't be uppercase. Yep, the K should not be uppercase. So right inside here, I'm going to say text transform. How do you spell transform? And let's say, how do you say lowercase? Lowercase, like so. And this is already much better in the design. But then notice how, if you look at this, this is a bit more of a font to it, right? it has a bit more of font weight, so I'm going to say right inside here, I'm going to say font weight, set this to 700. But remember that it needs to have the font family of what was the font that has the weight of 700. It was Lex and Decker. Yep, it was Lex and Decker. So I'm going to say set this to font family, font dash family, and set this to Lex and Decker, like so, with a fallback of sans serif. That is much better. Okay, and the H1 also needs to have a this very same font family. So let me go and specify that in the H1. And probably you might have a better way to specify these font families, but you know, these are small projects, so I don't really mind doing it like this. So I'm going to say font family, set this to Lexend Deca, like that, with a fallback of sans serif. And there we go. Wait, what did I have on the body? Oh, then the body, this body should have inter, like so. And there we go. That is much better. Much better. Okay, now what do we need to do? We need to say remember that this I'm working this is 500 pixels for me, and this is 375 pixels, so it's not exactly to the design because my screen is just a bit bigger. So what we need to do now is what? Probably just add media queries. Let me increase the padding on the paragraph inside here. Let's go to the paragraph, right inside here, padding. Let's increase this to 30 pixels or even 40. No, let's set it to 30 because on smaller screens it's going to push inwards. Okay, now let's just set it back to 20. Yeah, because on smaller screens it's going to push inwards even more. And then once you do that, then I think this should be it for the mobile design. But before we go, let me just change this text color to white for the attribution. Change this text color to dash white, like so that we can actually see the text below this. And then probably let's add let's say padding bottom. Set this to around 20 pixels so that we can have a bit of leeway and we can scroll just a bit more, like so. Now what we need to do is just add a media query so that we can change this image at about 768 pixels, and then we need to realign this just a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now add media queries using the at media rule. So I'm going to say at media with a min width of 768 pixels. We are going to say we're going to target the container, target the picture class, like so, and then we need to change the background. So I'm going to set this background to URL, set this to /images /desktop, and then set the no repeat value, no repeat, and set it to the center and cover, like so. Okay, so let's see, and then we also need to probably change the height for this. Let's say height auto. Let me see what would happen if I say height, set this to auto. Okay, let's see. We're going to need a bit more of this. Let me just confirm where we had our container picture. Wait a minute. This is the same class. This is the same class. Just copy this, paste it above here so that we don't need to repeat classes. Let's see. Okay, so the height is set to 400 pixels here. We'll also need to change this therefore. So just copy this and paste it below this and set this height to auto as well. Let me see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it disappears now, which is not what I wanted. So for the meantime, let me disable this, and let's disable this as well. Okay, and then at 768 pixels, what we need to do is we just need to target this container class and then display these two as flex items, right? So let's see, let's target the container class, the dot container, and then just say display flex. What happens? Here's our image. Here's our image. Our image should be here. Here's our image actually. Okay, I can't seem to see our image. Why don't I see our image? Is it because of display flex? It's because of display flex. Okay, you know what? Let's say display grid, and then let's set grid template columns to repeat twice and one fractional. Let's see. Let's see. Why does display flex make this disappear? Oh, it's because this takes up the entire width. It makes it disappear because it takes up the entire width. Okay, you know what? Let's set this to flex. Then let's say align item center and align item center and justify content to the center as well. Okay, and then let's target the div, the second div, right? So let me say the second div with the class of cards, so container, and then target the div, and then let's just say nth child, set it to 2, and then set this to width, and let's set the width to 50%. And nothing happens. Nothing happens. This is already set to 50%. Nothing happens. Why? Why? Why does grid work? Why does display grid work and display flex doesn't work? What did I do wrong? 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 We have the container, okay? We have the container. Let's see. Let's get into our debugging tools. I'm looking for this div with the class of picture. Look where it is. Look where it is. Really? 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 Why do you do me like this? The reason I'm insisting on using flex is because I want to do flex direction and set this to row reverse. So this would go to this side and then the image would appear. Wait a minute, is that correct? No, so that this would go to the right and then the image would appear on the left. I think that's how the design is for the desktop. Yep, there we go. This is the design for the desktop, which therefore means, let me remove this. Let's set this. Let's set the width for this to 50%. I hate this. I hate this. I actually hate this. CSS is so annoying sometimes. Okay, so once we do this, then what we need to do is just increase the height for this. Is that a good idea? I probably have a massive margin here. Not a margin, sorry, but I probably added some kind of padding somewhere here. Let's go to the container and let's set this padding to 0. Let's see what happens. Okay, so when I set the padding to 0, then this resets just a bit, and then obviously you notice that we now need to change this because we don't want this border radius on the top left. Instead we want it on the top right and on the bottom right. So we just remember where I added that, and it should be on the overlay. So I'm just going to grab this, copy this, and paste it below this. Change this first body to 0, and then change this to 10 pixels, and that should work for the image. And we need to specify it inside here as well. So let's say border radius 0, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, and 0. Okay, So there we go. And then we now need to text align this to the left, right? Oops. So let's go inside the container and just say text align and set to the left. Okay, so that we're going to have this. Now what we need to do is just add some bit more stuff. So let's see, I probably need to increase the width for this for 716 pixels. So what I'm going to do is, where did you specify the width? Let's set this width. Let's set this to 500 pixels. Let's see. 500 pixels is, let's say min width. Let's say min width. Set this to 5. Or let's say 60%. Okay, that's not a good idea. Let's say 50%. And this should be much better. Min width of 60%. Okay. Okay, and notice how we have a bit of margin just at the top and bottom. I think that's because of resizing this. That's why this is happening. So I'm not going to dwell on that quite a bit, because as you can see on bigger screens this happens. Now what I want to do is what do I need to do? Let's set this min width to 40 pixels. Let me see how 40 pixels would look. 40 pixels. 40 pixels gives much better. So what I need to do is now just target this second div, right? And then I need to target this UL and push it inwards. So let me say the container. I want to target the card class, target the UL, and then just say padding dash left. Padding dash left, set this to 30 pixels. Push it inwards just a bit. And then obviously I need to say display flex on this so that they now go in raw form. And then let's see how this is structured. Okay, so let's remember where we had our list item. Where was it? Where we had this. So I'm just going to copy this, just copy this and paste it right around here. Okay, and then I need to remove this. Actually, not really remove, but I just need to move this and then change this to margin, let's say right, margin right, let's say 10 pixels, so that they separate a bit. Let's say 20 pixels, separate out even further. And then for the span, I just realized that the span needs to be smaller. So let's say font size, let's set the font size to 15 pixels, make it just a bit smaller, let's say 14 pixels. And then let's target the list item here and set the font size, font dash size, to 18 pixels. So that really not 18 pixels. Let's see how 30 pixels will look. Oops, I'm targeting. Oh, you know what? I'm targeting the wrong thing. I am targeting the wrong thing. So this should be opposite. So this should be, let's say, 18 pixels. 18 pixels, and then this should be 14 pixels. Okay, so that it's the opposite. So this is now bigger than the text here inside here. And actually, let me say 12 pixels. That's just more 13 pixels. Manageable. And let's increase the margin left. Let's increase the margin left. Where was it? Oh, the margin right inside here, 30 pixels. Increase it just a bit. Okay, and I think that should be better. The padding left, is it 30 pixels or is this 20 pixels? Should be 20. Yep, it's 20 pixels, so that they're all aligned. That is much better. So what I want to do is at around 992 pixels, then I want to limit this, the width for this, and then probably increase this to 50% so that they are all equal, right? And then actually that's what I wanted to do. Well, what did I want to do? I wanted to do it here, but it's misbehaving just a bit. It's misbehaving just a bit, which I don't like. Okay, nope, it seems that we fixed it. Yep, it seems that we fixed it. Okay, so now let's just do this right away, where I'm going to say, remember where we had display flex on this, right? So I'm going to add another media query, and I'm going to say add media, and I'm going to say for a min width, min dash width. Once again, guys, I can't see in the keyboard, so the mistakes are tolerable for now. So I'm going to say min width of 992 pixels, Then I'm going to say for the container, container, I want to add a min height of 100 viewport heights, which should now move it to the center, or it should. Let's see, right around there. Okay, and this is wrong. This is wrong actually. I should have placed this on the body. So let's say body, move this upwards, and then let's say display flex, align items to the center and justify content to the center, like so, so that this now moves like that. Okay, and then obviously I don't want this to be side, so I want to say flex direction, and set this to column, like so, which will now push this in column form basically. And then I'm going to remove this, right? And remember that the main height of the heights is what pushes this down to the center. If I remove this, then it will just be aligned to the top. Okay, so I'm going to uncomment that, and then notice how it looks amazing, right? It looks amazing, doesn't it? Okay, and probably there's probably something else that you can do. Let me just confirm this desktop design. And I still think these colors are darker than what we have, but you know what, let's just work with what we've been given, and then probably increase the sizes of these to increase the sizes of the list items inside here. So let's do that, okay, just to make them a bit bigger, and probably even add some more padding on this div. So let's say where was it? It was around I do apologize if you can hear some bit of background noise. I do apologize. So right around, where was it? Really, why can't I see it? Okay, there you go. So intensity, I'm going to say 24 pixels, increase this just a bit, okay, and then probably add a bit of margin on the bottom for this, right? So I'm going to say margin dash bottom, set this to 3 pixels just to separate it out a bit. And then now let's target this second div with the class of card. Remember, this is the second div, this is the first one, and then this is the second one, because we set it to flex row reverse, right? So row reverse brings whatever is here, and it takes whatever is here to the other side. Okay, so let's say well, what was I doing? Let's say at 992 pixels, right here on this media query, and I'm going to say target the container, and then target the card class, and then target the second div, the nth child. So nth dash child, target the second one, which means we're only targeting this one, and we're going to say add some padding of 0 on the top and bottom, and 30 pixels on the left and right. Okay, so let's save this and let's see what we have, just to push it inwards. Look at that, so that it's almost close to the design. As you can see, it has quite a bit of padding, right? And I can look at this all day and they keep on increasing some, you know, trying to be a perfectionist and all, but I don't want to do that. I'm trying to manage the issues that I have. Okay, so once we do that, then I think we are ready to submit this. This should be the end of this project actually, and I think we should be ready to submit this. But one final thing is, let me just add more padding below this paragraph. So let me figure out where we had that paragraph, and it was right around here, right? The card P. So at the bottom, right at the bottom, right below this, okay, and I'm going to say, let's say probably margin dash bottom, set this to what did I have, 40 pixels. Let's try 50 pixels, and I think that is much better. Okay, now what I want to do next is push this to GitHub and then submit it to Frontend Mentor. Okay, so I'm going to close these files down, and I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to stop my server, and then close this, and then I'm going to head over to GitHub, really GitHub, like so, and then I'm going to create a new repository, and this repository is going to called stats-preview-component, like so, and I'm going to say create repository. Okay, and then I'm just going to copy this link because we need this link, right? So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to say open up my terminal using control and backtick or tilde, whatever it's called. And then the first thing that I need to do is initialize an empty git repository. So I'm going to say git init, like so, which will make all these files untracked. and then I'm going to say git add all, okay, not all but dot, like so, which will now add them all, so that if I say git status, then they should all be green, as you can see, which means that they're all in the staging area. And then I'm going to say git commit -m, and I'm going to say initial commit dash project complete. That rhymes. Okay, so I'm going to say, once I do that, then I'm going to say git remote add repository, which is that there? No, git remote add origin, and then paste in my link like so. And then let's say git branch -m, capital M, main, which should now change this to the main branch. Okay, and then let's say git push -u origin main, which will now push it to my remote repository. And if I try to reload this, then we should see it like so. So this is the project that we have just done, with this readme coming from the readme that we have in here. I don't know why this is still untracked, but it doesn't really matter because everything is showing in our repository. And then the next thing I'm going to do is head over to Netlify, because that's where I want to deploy this. So I'm going to log in inside here. If you don't have an account with Netlify, they will ask you to log in using one of the Git providers, GitHub, GitLab, whatever. And then I'm going to say new site from Git, and I'm going to take it from GitHub because that's where we have it. And it's called stats preview, right? Stats preview. Let's see that. Let's see what we have. Searching. So it's called stats preview component. So that's what we have. And then we don't have a build command because we are not really using any kind of framework like React or Gatsby or whatever. And we don't have a published directory because we have an index.html file right inside our root folder, right? And notice how now they're no longer green with untracked, and this has changed to branch main. Okay, so I'm just going to say deploy site, and what Netlify will do is that it will look for the index.html file, and that is what it's going to deploy, right? And then look at that, it's already up on the internet, and this is what we have just built. Amazing, amazing. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to change the link for this. So I'm going to go into site settings and change site name, and probably I'm going to say something like TSB designs dash, let's say stats dash preview, like so. And this link is going to be at in the description in case you want to look at the finished product. And I'm also going to leave a link for the GitHub repository in case you want to look at the finished code as well. And then I'm going to open this up, right? So I can close this, and then I'm also going to leave this open. Now I'm going to head over to Frontend Mentor, like so. Open up the dashboard and head over into my profile, right? And then inside my profile, then I want to submit a solution. Well, where is it? Solutions, come on. Oh, wait a minute, these are the solutions that I've submitted, right? These are the ones I've submitted, my challenges. There we go. And let's say view challenge. Okay. And then I'm going to say submit solution right inside there. And I'm going to say mobile fast stats preview component, like so. The repository URL comes from right inside here, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it inside here. And the live site URL comes from this, so copy this and paste it inside. And then you can just say submit solution, and now I can close this too, like so, and it will submit my solution. And there we go. So we have the points. Okay, so I'm going to share this later, but I think I can share it on LinkedIn. Let's see. Yep, so I can see it on LinkedIn. Really, we need to copy this and then just paste it in CD, say start post, paste it here, and then I'm just going to say post. Should be fine. And once I click this link, then it should take me to my website, live or whatever, this right there. And then that is going to be it for this project. And I think that will be the end of this video. I think that will be it. If you've joined me and if you've reached the end, please do remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed. And do share me out, talk about me, tweet me. And remember that I do have a book. If you want to read the book, you can head over to my website, or you can click the link that I'm going to leave in the description And I also have a Udemy course for HTML and CSS if you want to learn about all of this by building a very cool looking hotel website. Then you can head over to Udemy. You can click the link in the description. I'm going to leave it in the description as well. And just to show you what we build in the course, then let me head over to my website and let me show you, let me give you a demo. Where was it? Right inside here. And this is basically what we build in the what's it called, in the course. We start by looking at very many things about HTML and CSS, and then we top it all off by building this cool looking hotel website. Would you look at that? A very clean looking design, very clean, appealing to the eye, that you just want to click on book now so that you can get your 33% off, looking amazing. So that is going to be that, and I hope you do enjoy this video, and if you do, hello everyone, today we're going to be doing the order summary component from Frontend Mentor. So you can head over to frontendmentor.io/challenges, and then you can click on this challenge. I have already completed it and I did it in React, but for this video I want to use HTML and CSS. So you can click on Visit Challenge Hub, and then right here you're going to have a download button, but I've already completed it. As you can see, it says View Solution, and you can just go ahead and download it. If you would like to learn web development, you can go to udemy.com and check out my course, or you can click the link in the description as well. Once you've downloaded it, then you can head over to your downloads folder, and then you will find a zip file right here, which you can then extract. And then I'm going to open this up in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so as we get started, then I want to mention that I'm going to be using an extension called Live Server, which will just allow me to do hot reloading, which means I don't have to keep on reloading the browser manually every time that I make a change. And the extension is right here. It's called Live Server, and you can go ahead and install it on your system. So I'm going to open up the index.html file. Okay, and just to see what we have on the screen, then I'm just going to right click here, and then I'm going to say open with the live server, and this should open it up on localhost 5500. And there we go. So I'm going to place this to the side, and we're going to have this. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our styles.css file. And inside here, I just want to place some default styles, and I'm going to say reset the margin to 0 and the padding to 0, and then add the box sizing of border box. And for all the images, I want the max width to be 100% right there. Okay, and then for the body, we're going to have a font family, which I'm going to grab in a moment. So font family, and the fallback is going to be sans serif. And I think that's going to be it for now. So let's go back into our index.html and link our style sheet right here. So link styles.css like so. Okay, and then we can grab this and remove it from here and add it in our style sheet. And we can add it right here. Let's place a comment that says attribution, and then just paste this in. Okay, I think that should be fine. So let me close this sidebar, and then let's begin styling this out, rather structuring this out. So I'm going to grab all of this, and then I'm going to place a div with a class of container like so. And then for this, I'm going to place this inside an h1. Oops, I meant to cut it out. So I'm going to cut it out and place it inside an h1, and then I'm going to grab this, cut it out and place it inside a paragraph, and then grab this once again, paste it inside a div, and then grab this, cut it out, add a button. And of course this is a button, but these two are buttons, of course. So I'm going to grab a div with a class of buttons like so, and then cut this out, place this inside a button once again, and then this inside another button like so. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and it should reset a few things on the screens just like that. So let's go ahead into our style guide markdown file, and then let's grab the red hat display from fonts.google.com. So just copy this link and then paste it in your omnibar, and we're grabbing the 500, 700, and 900 fonts. So we want the 500, the 700, and the 900, and I'm just going to use the import. So I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it right on top of this, paste it inside here, and then change this into red hat display, and that should be fine. There we go. So our font is going to reset. Okay, so you'll notice that the buttons don't take up the font family of the body, so we need to specify this. So let's go back inside here and say that for all the buttons, then we want the font family should be red hat display and sans serif as a fallback. So save this, and that should happen. And I think you can just have this as inherit, and it should still work. Yep, you can place this font family to inherit, and it's going to inherit the font family of the body. Once you have that, let's go back into our style guide markdown file and then just grab all of these colors. So copy this, and then let's place them inside root like so, and then we can turn these into variables. So dash dash pale blue, okay, and then this is dash dash bright blue, and then remember to add your semicolons. You can remove this. So this is very pale blue, this is the saturated blue, and then this is dark blue. Okay, and we should be fine. So let's save this, and then on the body, let me just go into our design files. Let's look at the mobile design. There we go. So the body has a pale blue, should be pale blue. Let me just check this out. The saturated blue, pale blue. Let's test it out. So background color, let's say the saturated blue. This should be a variable. Nope, not that one. Let's say pale blue. I think that's it. Okay, so pale blue. And then let's go back inside our index.html, and you'll notice that in our images we have a background pattern for the desktop and the mobile. Now it's a bit difficult to see the pattern on the mobile design, actually on this design, but if you go into the desktop design, then you will see there's kind of a background pattern right here. Okay, so we are going to need to add that in as well. So let's go back into index.html, and right above the container I'm going to add a div with a class of bg __ image like so. And I'm using emmet, I should mention. That's why I can do div dot and then bg __ image, which will create a div with a class of bg __ image. So that's how I am doing this. Okay, so let's save this and let's go into our style.css. Okay, and let's go ahead and let's tell our bg image like so, and let's say the background for this should be URL, and set this to /images / because we're building it mobile first, so we want the mobile image first, and then set the background repeat to no repeat, if I can spell it, and then position to the center and cover, and then let's give this a height of 400 pixels. Let's see where it will be right there. So now we can see our background pattern right there, right? But we don't want it to push down our content. Instead, we want it positioned absolute, and then the content is going to go on top of it. So let's say position this, position, if I can spell it, absolute. Okay, so that will happen, right? Okay, so once we position it as absolute, notice what happens, it kind of disappears, right? So in order to bring it back into view, then we're going to say set it to the top by 0, and then to the left by 0, and then to the right by 0, and then to the bottom by 0, and we're going to save this, and this is what is going to happen. So it is now on top of the content. In order to bring it back, then we're going to add a z index of -1, or any negative number really, which will just bring it behind our content, and we're able to see our background pattern and then our text right there, and we are fine. Now what we need to do is we need to change this background pattern when we get to larger screen devices. So I'm going to add a media query here, and I'm going to say @media for a min width of 768 pixels, which are tablets. Then I want to target the BG image class, and then I want to change the background. So I'm going to say background URL, set this to /images / the desktop pattern now, and then set the no repeat, and then to the center and cover, like so. And then probably increase this height to 500 pixels. And you know what, instead of 500 pixels, let's say 50 viewport heights, so that it takes up half of the screen. So I'm going to save this, and then let's see whether that works. So we're just going to increase this, and right around here you can see that the background pattern changes. It's very subtle, but it does change, as you can see. Amazing. So let's go ahead and build our mobile version. And what I want to do is now let's begin targeting the container. Okay, so let's go into the container right here, .container, and I'm going to give this a background color of BG color of white. Let's see. Okay, and then on the body, not on the body really. Let's add a margin all around of 20 pixels, which will push it inwards just a bit. Let's add a padding of 20 pixels to push the text inwards without affecting the color, like so. Let's add a border radius of around 5 or 10 pixels. So border radius, let's say 5 pixels. Let's add a box shadow of RGBA, sorry, not RGBA really, but let's say 3 pixels, 3 pixels, 3 pixels. And then let's do this one. Let me just see how this looks. And then let's do 0.15. Okay, very small, so that's okay. Okay, and then I've just realized that we need an image. We need this image on top of this, and this image as well. So let's go back into our index.html. Right above this, let's add an image. The source for this should be /images, and it's called icon music. Nope, not icon music, but it's called what's the name of this? Illustration hero. There we go. So that we're going to have this. Okay, and then let's go inside here, and inside here we're going to have our image, which is coming from /images / icon music. Okay, so that we're going to have this right here, and then let's grab this annual plan, place it inside an h4, and then grab this and place it inside a paragraph, so that we're going to have this. Okay, and actually this change button is, where is this change button? It should be right here. Okay, so let's place it inside here, just bring it upwards. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the h4 and the paragraph, cut it out, and place them inside an article. The reason for that is because we're going to be displaying this div as a flexbox. So this is going to be the first item, and then this is going to be the second one, and then the third one, just as they are arranged here for the first, second, and third. And actually what we could do is, another way you could do this is, because this is a bit closer to the music icon, so what you can do is just bring this article upwards, so that when you display flex on this, then the article is going to be the first item, then the button is going to be the second item, so that when you say justifying content to space between, then the text is going to be closer to the image. So save this. Nothing is going to change really, but what I want to do is give this button a class of btn dash change. Okay, and btn as well, a class of btn and btn dash change, and do the same for this. So give this a class of btn, and then btn dash primary, and then this second one is going to be btn dash secondary, because they are styled differently, as you can see. Okay, so let's go into style.css and let's style our buttons. Okay, so our buttons, so let me say all the btn classes. Then I want the background, I want the border to be none. Let's see that. Okay, let's add a padding of 5 pixels on the top and bottom, and 10 pixels on the left and right. That should be enough. Let's add a border radius of, let's say, 10 pixels, and let's just have that for now. And then let's go into btn dash change. So the class of btn change, then we want the background color to be transparent, and we want the text color to be, which one was it? Bright blue, right? Where am I? Bright blue. Change this into a variable. Okay, So bright blue right there, and let's add text decoration to underline. So that we're going to have this underline right there, so that's okay. Probably we want to change the font weight to bold. Okay, and you know what, let me just confirm this. All the buttons have a bold font weight, so let me grab this and place it on the btn class right there. Okay, looking fantastic. Let's increase the size of the buttons. So let's say font size, let's say around 16 pixels. And actually I've just remembered that in our style guide we have a default font size of 16 pixels for everything. So let me just go above here and let me say, so let's change the font size to 16 pixels. Okay, so let's target our h1 right inside here. So inside the container, let me target the h1, and what's the color of the h1 actually? It's very dark. So change this color to this one, that should be it. Okay, and then let me go inside the body. Let's go inside the body and just say text align center. So text align center, which will move everything to the center, as of course. And then on the paragraph, let's increase the line height to 1.6. Okay, so let's also add a color on the paragraph of, what was it? Should be this one, desaturated blue. So let's say color, set this to desaturated blue. Okay, there we go. So that's looking amazing. And then we were styling our buttons, right? So let's go here and let's say btn dash primary. Okay, change the background color for this to bright blue, I think it was. Okay, change the text color to white. Okay, I should probably increase this padding. Let me just increase it here. Let me set the padding of 10 pixels all around. Okay, and then copy this and paste it inside here as well for the not for the btn change. The btn change doesn't need to have extra padding. And then let's go into the btn secondary. Let's give this a background color of transparent. Okay, and the text color is going to be desaturated blue, should be it. Is it? Yeah, okay, right there. And then now we need to have hover states. So let me grab this one first. Let's say that for the hover state for this, then I want the color to be this one. So let's see. Okay, there we go. And of course, for the btn, I just all the button to be pointer when I hover over it. So cursor pointer, and there we go. And then let's grab the btn primary. Let's have the hover state for this. So on hover, I just want to change the opacity to around 0.8. Let's see, there we go. And then do the same for the btn change. So I can actually do it right here. So I can say btn change and then target the hover state like so. And there we go. Okay, so let's add a transition. So right here, actually I can add it on the button. So let me add a transition of all. So transition all the elements by 0.2 seconds. And then let's just say is in out. And there we go. Nice transition. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue styling this out. And I've just realized that I don't want the padding to be inside here because it moves the image inwards. So if I remove this, then look at this. And we are going to have this. So let's go inside our container and let me just see how I styled this out, actually, how I structured it rather. So I have the image. Okay, so let me target the container img. So dot container, I want to target the image, and then I'm just going to set the width to 100%. Okay, and actually I should probably explain that's why we have this kind of space here, because the image is just a bit less than 100%. But if you define this, then it takes up the entire width. And then I want the border radius on the top. And actually what I can do is I can add a border radius of 10 pixels on the top left and right and 0 on the bottom left and right. Okay, so that we're going to have this, and this is actually wrong. This should be 10 pixels, and then 0 and 0. Otherwise this kind of pattern appears. Do you see it? Okay, and this is what we want, and this was actually 5 pixels. We used 5 pixels. Okay, and as you can see, now that we've added the width of 100% on the image, then it messes this up, right? So what I want to do is I want to give this image a class of its own. So let me give this a class of hero, like so. Okay, and then let's go into index.html and let's give this image a class of hero so that it's the only one that is going to be affected. Okay, so that's looking amazing. And this just means target the container and the image that has the class of hero. So that's what this means. Okay, and then let's go ahead. Let me see this. So we have our paragraph. Okay, so let's go inside this div. Let me give this div a class of pricing, like so. And then let's target it, so the container, and then I want to target the div with the div actually with the class of pricing, so that I can say add a margin, let's say margin of 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. Okay, so just move it away. Actually, let me say 20 pixels. Yeah, that's much better. So 20 pixels on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. Okay, and then this div has a background color. So background color of pale blue should be it. There we go. And then let's give this div a width of 90%, which means it's only going to take up 90% of the container, which is the parent of the div. And then let's say margin of let's say right here 20 pixels on the top and bottom and auto on the left and right, which will center it like so. And then let's give this a border radius of 5 pixels. So just maintain the border radius. Okay, and then finally we can say display flex. So display flex. Okay, and then align items to the center, and then let's say justify content to space between, which will move it to the end like so. Let's add a padding probably. Let me go below this. Let's add a padding of let's say 10 pixels all around. Okay, and then let me go inside the article. Okay, so inside this article and then display it as flex also. And actually this might mess up a bit, so let me grab this and place it inside the div like so, so that when I go inside the article and display flex, then this is the first item and then this is the second item. So let's grab this. So let's say container and then pricing and then article, right? So let's say display flex. Let me see. There we go. And then align item center. What am I doing? Okay, and just for content to the center so that this happens. And then let's grab this once again and target the image. So img, let's say margin right and set this to 10 pixels. Just push it away from this just a bit, and then probably this is not pale blue. This is not pale blue actually, sorry for that. It should be around very pale blue. So very pale blue. Okay, so very pale blue, so that we are able to see this icon for the music icon, so that we're able to see the music icon. Okay, so this is almost complete, but I've just realized something. Let me go back and add a bit of margin on the h1. So the container h1, actually I should name it container h1 like so. So let's say increase the margin here to be 10 pixels at the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. Okay, I think that is much better. And then probably what I should do is go inside this div, increase this padding, the margin to 30 pixels at the top, auto on the left and right, and then 20 pixels on the bottom. Or let's say just say 30 pixels on the top and bottom. I think that's okay. That's okay. And then finally, or almost finally rather, what you can do is let's add, remember where we added the padding of the container? Actually we removed it, but what we can do is we can add a padding bottom. So padding bottom, come on, so that we are going to have some bit of leeway between this button and the end of the container. So let's say padding bottom of 20 pixels. So we're going to have this. And then let's go inside the div with the class of buttons. So container and then buttons. I think I named buttons. Let me just confirm. So this div right here, okay. And then we're going to say display flex and then flex direction. Set this to column so that they're going to stack one on top of the other. And then align item center and justify content to the center so that we're going to have this. And then once we do this, then I want to target the btn primary and add a margin bottom on the btn primary. So let's just go back to the top right around here. Let's say margin bottom, set this to 10 pixels to push it away just a bit from this. So, and we're going to have this. So would you look at that? We already have this for the mobile version. And what we can do actually is, I've just realized that we should probably change this. So let me link my website. You can link this to whatever you want. Change this to my name. You can spell it. Okay, so that we're going to have this. That's looking amazing. Now what we need to do is just scale it up for larger screens, right? And actually, before we do that, let me just add a margin on the top of this so that it pushes downwards just a bit. Okay. And you know what we can do actually is we can go on the body and we can say display flex on the body. And of course, flex direction, set this to row. Set this to column, actually. It's not row, sorry. And then align item center and justify content to the center. And then let's say min height and set this to 100 viewport heights, which is going to push it to the center. So look at that. It's always going to be centered no matter the device that you're looking it on. And then look at this. Now we just need to scale it up just a bit because we don't want this to happen. And probably you can add a padding on the left and right of this paragraph so that this doesn't happen. Now let's see what we can do. Let's go inside our index.html and then let's target this paragraph, give this a class of description or desk like so. And then let's go inside our container here, and then let's target the container and then the paragraph that has a class of desk like so, and then let's